War. War never changes.
Shoot me in the face! Take out!
No, this definitely feels different. What's up, everybody? Today I want to talk about Borderlands 2, released in 2012 for the PC, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. Now, the first question we have to ask is, what exactly is Borderlands 2? And to put it simply, it is an action role-playing first-person shooter. And that's a lot of things all at once. With Borderlands 2 being a sequel, we have to look at the original game, which in itself was a looter shooter. But Borderlands 2 is a whole new game. It's such a polished, amazing product. You have to really give Gearbox credit. The graphics in Borderlands 2 are a whole step up from the original game. When we look at the NPCs, the enemies, the environments, everything just looks so much better. And those guns look so good. Oh yeah. Let's talk about the gameplay. With the original Borderlands, we were able to co-op play with up to 3 other players, and Borderlands 2 is no different. However, with the DLC, we're able to select up to 6 different characters. There's Maya, she's a siren, Salvador, a gunzerker, Krieg, a psycho, Gage, a necromancer, Zero, an assassin, and lastly Axton, a commando. Really, overall, all 6 of the characters you can choose from are really well designed. Gearbox deserves a lot of credit. And this could be viewed as a fault when it comes to Borderlands 2, but you need to play it with friends to get the true experience. You get bonuses, you get revives, the game is just way more fun, you have banter going back and forth. But if you play it solo, it's not really the same game. It's not as much fun. And it only gets worse the more times you play through the game. The first time around, the difficulty is okay. The second go around, you play true Vault Hunter mode. The difficulty gets worse. And then lastly, there's a third go around you can play called Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, which is very hard. And when you play that alone, it's literally just you dying and trying to get back up from getting a kill. One thing I can't help but bring up is I'm a big fan of Borderlands, and when they release a game, there's a certain level cap. And then eventually what happens is they'll release a new DLC, it'll increase the level cap, and all the farming you did at max level is now basically useless. I can't tell you how many times I killed Terramorphous, and it was all for nothing. Okay, let's talk about the weapons of Borderlands 2. As with the first game, we have our pistols, submachine guns, rifles, shotguns, snipers, rocket launchers, grenades, and shields. And I have to say, everything in this game is so much better. The game's variety, the brands, everything has a unique feel to it, and I absolutely love it. The legendary loot applies to class mods, pistols, shotguns, submachine guns, the whole bunch, as well as your shields. My favorite shield in the game is called the Bee, and it boosts your bullet damage. Not even a little bit, it'll make you melt bosses. This thing's amazing. And when you get down to it, the best thing about Borderlands 2 is trying to find all the unique guns and see what they can do. Another gun that I really enjoy is the Slaga and the Bitch. Both of these submachine guns are spectacular. Another thing I really enjoy about Borderlands 2 is the idea that they got rid of the special iridium weapons from the first game. Now they're like a hybrid mix of the regular guns with a special effect, and I can't tell you how much I love this idea. The original game's guns were boring. When I look at the variety of enemies in Borderlands 2, I can't think of a better game in the last 10 years than this. They put so much effort into it, and it paid off so well. The first set of enemies that I want to talk about is the bandits. They have the typical Marauder, the Psychos, the Midgets, the Goliaths, the Nomads, and the Bruisers. They did a great job on the bandit faction. They even added new enemies that really fit in. A new faction that they've brought to the game is the Hyperion Corporation, which is headed by Handsome Jack. The Hyperion Corporation gives the game a more robotic feel when you're playing it. There's these special robots called loaders, and there's a lot of variety in them. There's the gun loaders, dozers, ion, flame, power, badass, and super badass. Not only that, there's also special soldiers they have. There's engineers, hawks, special ops. I really enjoyed the variety. And we gotta talk about the wildlife of Pandora. They did a great job bringing back some of my favorites like the spider ants, skags, and racks from the first game. They even actually added some new wildlife. They have varkids, chrysalis, and stalkers. All 3 of these new creatures are really cool. I really enjoy the chrysalis design. It's almost like a walking fortress with crystals you have to shoot to bring them down. Really cool. One thing I don't like about the wildlife in Borderlands 2 is they got rid of the Scythids and the Guardians. For some reason they've disappeared from the planet, but there's no explanation as to why. This really bothers me, because even at the end of the game they have statues of the Guardians. Where the heck did they go? One of the last enemies that I have to mention in the game is the Loot Midgets. These guys give the best loot in the game. They give pearlescent weapons in Ultimate Vault Hunter mode. And really, they're really adorable. Unfortunately, they're really tough at the same time. That's really about it for the enemies when it comes to Borderlands 2, but no world is complete without a set of characters, and the ones that this game brings to the table are fantastic. You have the 4 original Vault Hunters from the first game, Brick, Mordecai, Lilith, and Roland. On top of that, you have Claptrap, Marcus, Dr. Zed, Moxie, Scooter, Tanis, Hammerlock, and Tiny Tina. Every one of these characters is unique and funny. And I must say, the environments they bring forward in Borderlands 2 are also just as unique as the characters. They feel really well designed. I never felt bored going from place to place. And with so many amazing aspects in Borderlands 2, I can't help but feel that the plot is overshadowed by the gameplay. Let's take a look at the plot. Please be aware, there are spoilers ahead. 5 years after the events of Borderlands 1, the game opens with our heroes on a train traveling across Pandora. As the game opens, we're introduced to the main antagonist, Handsome Jack, the CEO of Hyperion. Despite our heroes' best efforts, they are unable to save the train, and Handsome Jack destroys it. They crash in the Arctic. As they awake, they are discovered by Claptrap and contacted by Angel to try and get them back to Sanctuary, where they can link up with the Crimson Raiders. Once we arrive at Sanctuary, we learn that the leader of the Crimson Raiders, Roland, has gone missing. However, we find out that the Firehawk has information on his whereabouts. After we track down the Firehawk, we learn that it's actually Lilith, the siren from the first Borderlands game. She reveals that Roland and herself have actually developed into a relationship. We also learn that Roland has been captured by a bunch of bandits. We then have to track him down at a hydroelectric dam. Once we find Roland, he's actually captured by the Hyperion Corporation. After a long battle, we finally free him and bring him back to Sanctuary. From this point forward, Roland and Lilith work with the new Vault Hunters to try and stop Handsome Jack from activating the second vault. As we progress, we link back up with Mordecai and Brick from the first game. With their efforts, we're able to infiltrate the bunker to try and steal the vault key away from Jack.
Hey, you coming or not?
However, once we get inside the bunker, we meet Angel, who turns out to be Handsome Jack's daughter. In the process of obtaining the vault key, we kill Angel. This infuriates Handsome Jack, and he kills Roland and captures Lilith.
I'm going after Jack.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Son.
Unfortunately, he needs a siren to activate the vault key. Our heroes then do everything within their power to find the location of the second vault, and to try and stop Jack before he's able to access the vault. Once our heroes reach the vault, we try and stop Jack. Unfortunately, he's able to activate the vault key before we're able to stop him. He summons the Warrior. I freaking love this boss. Borderlands 2 goes out with a bang with the Warrior. Great job, Gearbox. And then, of course, we get to shoot Handsome Jack.
See, I could have saved this.
So good. And as the game comes to a close, the vault key projects a map of a galaxy with other vaults. Oh geez, I sure hope they don't use this in a future sequel. That sure would be coincidental. And that's really about it for the plot of Borderlands 2. Now, with the game being an RPG, it does feel a bit long at parts, but overall, I felt pretty satisfied with the experience.
I will lead you into battle! I will destroy Handsome Jack with my bare hands! I will... Stairs? No!
So, in summary, Borderlands 2 is an amazing game. It improves on so many things from the first game, be it its guns, its gameplay, its mechanics. Just overall, the game is a huge step up, and it had a great foundation to work off of with the first game. Really, when it comes down to negatives to Borderlands 2, the only thing I can comment on is that it's a really poor experience when you play it solo. Other than that, the game is really good. I have to give this game an A+, and if you guys haven't played it, I recommend it. Thank you all for watching my video. I really appreciate you guys watching to the end. And lastly, but most importantly, I hope you all have a great day.
Hey, buddy, it's me, Roland. Let's kill Handsome Jack and then we'll all go out for milkshakes. No, I'm just playing. He's still really dead.